There we go.
Yeah. Okay, so we are live. We are live. So this is Lucy Macridis right here, and you can see Angie Murenga to the left of my screen. Hi, Angie. Hi, Angie.
Hi.
Hi.
Asante. Thank
So,
you.
children are ready to fly the coop. They are leaving home, whether it is they're going to school, whether they're going on to start life, they're leaving the country, it's career, whatever it is, or they've decided they can do this thing on their own, they are leaving. I would love for you to share with us, what are the thoughts that are going through your mind? Is it excitement? Is it sadness? Is it anxiety? And I'm saying anxiety because some of us have got control issues. So what is it that is going through your mind? Please take time to just type into the chat and tell us what is going through your mind. Well, empowerment is how we help children realize their potential that lies within them. This is our duty as parents, always has been and always will be. It is a duty that we really hold as a God-given duty. They don't come with a manual. Or what do you think, Angie? Do our children come with a manual?
No, they don't. They definitely don't come with a manual. And as you were saying that, I was even thinking of personality. They come with different personalities. Like me and my daughter, we're completely different personalities, and that's also a different ballgame altogether.
So true. And talking about personalities, you have a daughter. Can you imagine those who have 5, 4, 3 children, 10 children? Those are different personalities we are dealing with. And you are the one person who is imparting on them this kind of empowerment that really makes it an interesting discussion to have. Well, as we do help our children the way we know best, we tend to pour ourselves into our children. We tend to pour in what we believe is the correct thing. And then we have huge expectations, Angie. We have huge expectations that they will be so grateful that we did this, forgetting that this is my duty to do. I am supposed to do this. And the one mistake that we make as parents is that we either want them to be very grateful or them to be a copy of and paste of me. If I perceive that I am a success, I want this child to be a copy and paste, or worst still, or shall I say a better one up. I expect this child to do better than me and not make the mistakes that I've made. I mean, what kind of expectations are we putting on our children's shoulders? Yeah?
They're too high.
It's too high. It's too
It's
high.
too much.
It's too much. And I agree with you. It's too much, but something to think about. So while this empowerment that we do, we believe that it is building their resilience and it is preparing our children for life. It is the most that we can do as we put it all before God so that he can guide us with wisdom, things to do. He knows what it is that he's allowing to happen in our lives so that our children can get the best of us. There's that danger, Angie, that we neglect ourselves in the process. It's like as if this is a project, this is a project.
You have to maintain balance in the project.
You have to maintain balance. I have a girlfriend and I'm sure she's on this call. I'm hoping that she has logged in. I will not say your name, but you will recognize your story here. This girlfriend comes from a very big family. And she said she's the last born. And she said by the time it got to her, it was her older sister who was her mother. Because now the mother had gone through child 1, child 2, child 3, child 4. There are many children. And you're the one parent who is empowering them. I mean, they must get to a point where now you're tired. You're spent.
Definitely.
Times have changed, Angie, from the firstborn. If there's a difference of about 15 years, it's a different season. Things are done differently.
And you're probably at this point saying it's never that serious, because I'm just thinking of my own, even Jen, even in leadership, at some point you're like, it's never that serious. Things that I was so, meticulous about. I'm like,
yes.
So I think that's the same thing with parents. By the time they get into 4th born, 5th born, they're like, it's okay. It's all right.
It's all right. It's never that serious.
It's not that serious. Let me just
It's
move
never
on with
that
my life.
serious.
These children will kill me and there's no point.
I mean, she was sharing this with me, and I come from a smaller family than hers. And I couldn't relate to what it was that she was saying. I was trying my best to understand how then does your sibling become that person. But today, having had a family of my own, and I only have 2 children that I was blessed with, I can already get that feeling. The first time you're very meticulous. I mean, I don't know about you, but during our time when our children were born, we had this yellow card that we would go with for vaccinations.
Vaccinations, yes.
Yes, exactly.
And you had to take it to school. You had to make sure it had all the vaccinations because that's the only way your child could get into school.
There you go. There you go. And every time you went to see the doctor, they were being weighed, and then we put it in there. Many things were happening with that little yellow card. And that was happening then. If I was to have a child today, it's a totally different system. But in all that, we could be neglecting ourselves. In fact, not we could be. I know for a fact that we pour ourselves so much that we end up neglecting ourselves. And later on in the broadcast, we will be looking at ways to be accountable to self. How do we honor ourselves? Because just like a vehicle needs to go into the gas station from time to time to top up. You need kuangalia mbele, mbele iko sawa, the oil. You need to check the tires. And therefore, us as parents, we need to remember, we need to check into that. And Angie, I do hope that we're going to have that very energetic conversation around that, because it is important that we have something to do when our children go. We have a life after our children go. Unlike what we say, my life is my children. It's a good thing that you say that. But once your children leave, then what is your life? What is your life? Yeah. So I'm just going to recognize those who have joined us today. Kavi, karibu sana. And she says, hello, Lucy, and hello, Angie. Great to see you, Kavi. We've got Anna Maura. We've got Jane Adam. We've got Rosemary Odima. We've got Vanessa Gadhoni Kamau. Thank you so much, ladies. The question here today that we are looking at is, your children are ready to fly the coop. Already they've flown the coop, yeah? So whether it is education, career, life, or they want to move on their own, or marriage, whatever they are living, what feelings are you experiencing? Were you ready for this? What are those emotions? Share with us here on the chat, and just let us help build one another. Because some people are still living with their children, and like my mother used to say, at 18 you are living, because she wanted the best for us. My question, if I could ask my mother today, is, were you ready? You made a statement, but did you prepare yourself? So today we are seeking here to understand that empty nest syndrome. We want to understand, how prepared do we need to be? So emptiness syndrome vis-a-vis empowering our children. How much is too much when we are dealing with our children? How much is just enough? Or is it too little? Talk to us, ladies and gentlemen, talk to us. So welcome to Tuesday Talks at 3. This is a platform for women to help build one another on their daily journey as we go through life. My name, for those of you who do not know me, is Lucy Makridis, and I'm the founder of LMC Consultancy. I'm an expert in helping women get unstuck and onto their true potential. And I do this through unlocking their limiting beliefs. I'm a certified life coach. I'm a clarity coach, to be precise. And I give you that clarity in life as much as I can. I am a mentor and I'm an online facilitator. Thank you so much for coming with us and being on this broadcast. LMC Consultancy, as you've heard me say, is what I do. This is my life purpose. Now, what we do is we have different programs. I'll just share with you at least 3 programs that we are running currently. It is school holidays. So we have a program called Lady in Waiting for teenage girls, where we help them transition into society. So if your child is between the age of 12 and 18, we start on Monday. Just look at my Facebook and you'll get all the details there. We have fun. We have fun. It's 6 days of 12 hours and 6 workbooks. We have fun. You check the Facebook page and get to know more. And then we've got my group life coaching. There's one that has just ended, and the April cohort starts on Monday next week. And so I usually take a small group of women, so it is very personalized and intimate. Drop me a direct message and I will give you the information. The group itself, there's 5 of you, and we go through 6 sessions, costs 50,000 shillings for that group. Now, last but not least, is my signature program called Awakening Self. I've just come off it right now. Today we were covering limiting beliefs. And I have a group of people. Today I have 10 people actually who are running through the Awakening program this week. And we take you through your journey, limiting beliefs, your purpose. How do you find your purpose? What do you love? And then we finish it off by knowing your voice. What voice are you going to use? And then last, again, we come and we do the awakening, you know, that becoming. But what makes me an expert? You know, many people have asked, a life coach, Lucy, you're an expert in life. Well, it is my take. It is the experiences that I have. I love to share information. I love to help build one another. I mean, today we're here with Angie. Angie's going to help us also to understand from her take. And Angie, thank you so much for coming to share with us your take. Because Angie has also experienced the empty nest season, and therefore she will share her experiences. That's an experience in life. So mine has been hospitality for 30 plus years. COVID happened. That's a story that's gone. It cannot be an excuse anymore. But it happened, and it gave birth to me being an author. I'm writing a book called Awakening Self, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to publish it in the next 60 days or so, give or take. And this program that I am running since January is a sneak peek of what's in that book, which has got my life history and why it is that I'm an expert. So I was able to write this book. I found my voice, and basically what I'm doing is I'm owning that voice, and I'm on the journey of embracing that voice. So I invite you to be part of my Facebook community so that you can join. We Are Connected, where we share with people who are like-minded. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. It'll give you the opportunity to see my recordings with phenomenal women. It's almost been 8 months of sharing when I went into collaboration late last year. It's something that you would love to be part of. If you are interested, please direct message me, and you can be a guest the way Angie is a guest today. So share with us your story, and let us help to build one another. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I want to introduce Angie that you see there on the screen with me. So she's here to give us her take on the empty nest syndrome vis-a-vis empowering our children. Angie Murenga is an executive certified, oh wait, let me stop. Angie Murenga is a friend. She is a friend. I have known her for so many years. It is so nice to have a friend on the show. She's an executive certified leadership coach and a member of the ICF, International Coaches Federation. Tunajuana kwa vilemba. So she wears many hats. She's a CEO of Kingdom Business Solutions. She runs an online digital platform known as Just Angie, where she engages her audience on different aspects of life. She's an ordained minister of God. She's an author. She's a mentor. She's an inspirational speaker. Wow. And she is a mother. She is a mother. We couldn't have picked somebody so right to talk to us about emptiness syndrome and empowering our children. Angie, I am saying to you with a profound, beautiful heart, welcome, Angie.
Thank you so much. Beautiful introduction. I'm like, wow. Thank you, Lucy.
You're most welcome. It is my honor on Tuesday Talks at 3 to have you here. And I can see there's quite a few people who have joined us. Jane has said, nice to see you, Angie and Lucy. Thank you so much, Jane. Shilan Dukutua, great to see you. Good afternoon to you. Nyawera Gitao, wow, that's a blast from the past. Good afternoon to you, Nyawera. Pauline Mbugwa is here with us today. Pauline, asante sana for joining us. She is actually lined up to be one of our guests, and she's watching us today. Agnes Mohia also, a blast from the past. Karibu. Oh, Nancy Date, God bless you for joining. Nancy, God bless you, because we grieve together. We are sisters. thank you so much for taking time to join me today. And let us just recognize Mom on this show. I would like to dedicate this specific program to my mother, Rose Elmina Makumbi, who grew angel wings exactly a week ago. She allowed me to run my Tuesday talks last Tuesday, and then she left at 7:30 that evening. So Nancy, you and I tuko pamoja. Mom is in a beautiful place. She is rested, and we continue to do our work knowing that she's smiling on us. And we've got dibs. We are her favorites right now. So Nancy, good to see you here. Karibu sana. Mary Gadhoni, karibu. Anna Maura, you have said hello. Nice to see you. Mudhoni Kamau and Jackie Kali. That's another blast from the past. So ladies, share with us. Have your children left the coop? Have they flown? How are you feeling? Is it excitement? Are you ready? Are you confused? Are you anxious? Or do you have control issues? You want to know exactly what is going on in their house. Jane Adam, do you want to know what is going on in her house? Share with us. Let us help build one another, please. So Angie, situation on the ground.
Yes.
It's about life and our situations. And I'm coming from a corporate background. So for me, situational analysis is something we always start with. That one, it sets the pace of knowing where we are and how do we chart a course. So can you make a connection for me, how we can have a situational analysis at this point? Do something like a SWOT, or what do we start, stop, and continue? How can you take us from where we are at now, empowering our children?
Wow. First of all, I don't know, I was thinking as you were speaking that it's almost, because now I'm thinking back in hindsight, it's living in the present, but being aware of the future. That is very important, because I think I missed that out somehow. I always say I feel like I missed a memo somewhere. Like, did I miss the brief? Like the children were going to grow up and leave home? Like, was I so focused on just bringing them up and pouring out my energies that when it happened, it was like a slap in the face almost. So I think the whole idea is to live in the present, but be aware of the truth, and then tell yourself the truth about your situation, and how you feel. I'm not sure, I don't have access to the chat, but I hope that people are writing into the chat, because it's so important. Be honest with yourself, you as a parent, as a guardian, who you are, what you want to tell your children, what legacy do you want to leave behind, what values have you taught them, and then I think also be confident in what you have prepared them, what you've put into them, and now let them go and do it. So I don't know whether I've answered your questions.
Well, you've actually told us about the individual, and I love what you said. I'm going to read it out because you keep on seeing me bobbing here to my right. I'm writing down notes because these are gems that you're just dropping. That you wondered whether you had received the memo, you had missed the memo about living in the present and being aware of the future. These children are living. And you felt that perhaps you missed out on the memo. What was going through your mind, Angie? I mean, you were bringing up this beautiful girl, you were educating her, you were sharing a part of yourself with her. Was it perhaps in the back of your mind that you thought that she would stay with you forever?
And that's what I'm saying about what we need to do is live in the present, but be aware of the future. And the future is that we're evolving, that the relationship is evolving, the child is evolving, you are evolving, the situation is evolving. There's a lot of evolution taking place. There's a lot of transitions. There's a lot of growth. Things are morphing. But for some reason, I wasn't fully present as I would. If I could do it all over again, I think I would be more present about that. Very present about that. Imagine there's a goal. I think you also said it. There's a goal. Yeah. So be aware of the end goal. Be very aware of the end goal. And the end goal is that you're bringing up this child, you're empowering them to be independent. And that means they're going to leave.
Yes.
But as we're empowering them, somehow we feel like they're going to be with us forever. And it's not true. And I'm telling you, I'm a very strong person. I mean, it almost killed me. Now, when I got into preparation place, I've never experienced such, I also like to call it grief, because it's like the person has gone, but not gone. Does that make sense? Yeah. We love mom, God rest her soul in peace. And even today I was reflecting about my dad. They've gone. But this person, this child or children, they've gone, but they haven't gone.
Yes, yes, yes.
So it's almost the
wow.
same experience. They've gone, but they haven't gone, you know. And I don't know, I heard you saying to one lady there, maybe I'm running ahead of myself, but also the fact is that you've been involved in everything this child does every day, you know. You're involved in their day-to-day. They want to tell you things. Then of course, maybe around 16, you're not so cool and they're looking at you with side-eye, weighing whether they're going to hear what you said versus what their friends said and what the hip-hop culture is saying. So, you know, there are many people here who are speaking. So you're maybe contributing 20 or 30%. But then it gets to a point, you know, in their mid-20s where they're like, bye. See ya, me, let me tell you, I am going to make my own mistakes. It's okay. I'm walking into the fire, let me walk into it. So it's also, for me, one of the things was not being able to, not privy to information, not being, honestly, I almost had a heart attack. I was like, yeah, you're not going to, no, I'm not going to share with you. You mind your own business. See ya, I love you, but let me tell you, we're moving this way. And then every time I wanted to really overreact, the Lord would remind me, thank God for the Lord. He's so amazing. And he would say, you are 5,000% worse with your own mother. So no, close them up. Shh. And I'm like, then I play some scenarios in my head. I say, okay, let me move on. Let me see what I can do with this.
Are you saying that you did this to your folks and now it's happening to you? It almost crippled you. I mean, this is a reality, Angie. It almost
crippled me. Yeah. And I'm a single mom. So I mean, I'm a mom in a complicated situation, but it's only one child also. I keep saying I had 3 or 4, maybe then I'm really interested to hear what the women say, because if I had more children, I don't know whether it would be different, you know. And you know how people even would have one child to stay at home. I understand so many things now, you know. I understand why there was always sometimes somebody left at home with my grandmother, you know, one of my nieces, because now I get it. You know, at that time I wasn't getting it. And that's why even some people you keep having children, maybe 3 or 4, so that, you know, they stay with you a lot longer.
Yes.
But you don't have to experience that emptiness syndrome. But it doesn't matter how long we hold on to it, it's going to happen.
I mean, I like that. That is our situational analysis. We've actually looked at the situation and seen the things that can happen. Here, Angie, you're talking about perhaps you missed the memo. And if you had to do it, if you could do it all over again, you would definitely live in the present, but cognizant that she was leaving. And while we are on that topic of cognizant that she will leave, you know, you need to know who you are. You mentioned that, and what you stand for and what legacy you desire to leave behind. Because as I said, I mean, I lost my mother last week, but I can tell you that in that 1 week, I realized the similarities that I have of my mother. I mean, I'm not 100% my mother, and I know my siblings picked some, left some, but the legacy that she has left with me is very acute in my mind. It's very clear. Maybe I didn't notice it before, but that was also another stage of empty nest, because now I have an empty nest of no mother, you know, a life after mom. For me, it's 1 day at a time. Today is the first week anniversary. But just to think about it, the legacy that she desired to leave behind, was she intentional when she was doing it? Or was she just carrying on with her work of empowering us and allowing us to be let go? Because it's like you're taking care of something, then you open up the cage and you let them go. Because my mother always said, you get to 18, you're gone. Was she ready? So I love what you're thinking about and who you are, and the core values is very important. Let's just share here. I can see the chat is on fire, Angie. It's on fire.
Really? Wow. I wish I had access to the fire.
Here, Rachel Waireri, sorry to pronounce your name wrong, says, I'll just read that. Happy to hear. My auntie prepared me when my kids were under 5. She said, remember that the children use you, then leave you. Oh, Rachel, okay. Remember that the children use you and then leave you. So jipange for when they do, you have a good auntie. So I have always had that in the back of my mind through every stage. You got the memo. Rachel, you
She
got
the memo. As we didn't get the memo.
Yeah.
And you know that the accurate word, that's a very accurate word of using you. There's once just recently I had a statement from Dr. Stanley Mukolbe. Somebody was saying something that he said, and I said I have to look for him because he said children are drainers, and they are. You know, we can think they're all these, but they're users. They will use you and move on. But so are we. We were also users. We were there. We also moved on. So and it's like we moved on. It's this cycle is just continuing, but I think those are accurate descriptions. I needed like that auntie is the one I needed. I missed that auntie. That was a good
We missed the memo, Angie, you and I. Because when we left, we didn't think it was going to happen to us. We never looked in the rear view mirror again. We kept on going.
And God has a sense of humor. He really does.
He does have a sense of humor.
He has a serious sense of humor. For sure, even I think some of the, whatever the English say, sometimes and karma, that it's going to come back to you, a good measure poured out. I'm telling you, it's coming back. It's coming back.
It's already back.
Coming back is coming back.
Yeah. So here we have a Naomi Karani who says, hello, Lucy. Hi, Naomi. She says, hello, Angie. Great to see you again. She says, Geneva PLF. Does that make any sense?
Yes, I ran a program in Geneva for Purpose and Leadership Forum. Yes, I did.
Wow.
So I have an active alumni there.
Oh, fantastic. So you've got Naomi Karani here. Hi, Naomi.
Hi, Naomi.
Okay, Patty Mathegi has joined us. Good to see you, Patty. It's been a while. Rachel comes back and adds, Rachel, you've got shots fired today. You said, and she also reminded me that I had left my mother to chart my own path. Yes.
I told you that's what the Lord keeps reminding me. Every time I go to speak my piece, he's like, Then he reminds me, and you, and you, and you, and you.
Yes. So it's all about being prepared. So Nyawira Gitao says, I also have just one daughter. Oops, I can see this. It's going crazy here, Angie. I also just have one daughter, now 26. Luckily, she's still home with me, but she keeps on reminding me that she will soon leave. It is a reality that I have had to accept. While we are on that topic, Nyawira, since you have the person in your house and they're already warning you, what are your plans? So you tell some of us who perhaps have children who haven't left and they haven't warned us, can you just chat us there and tell us, what do you do? I mean, how are you preparing yourself? Have you taken up knitting? You know, things like that. What is it that you're going to do to make up when she leaves? You know, how are you having these conversations? Because she's going to want to live her life of her own, as you have said, Angie has said. Jackie Kelly says, I feel you, Angie. When you have one child, it's more difficult for us. But I have felt that the trick is in learning to let go early. Whoa, I'm loving this.
Yeah.
Example, when they go to boarding school, with the condition that they need to check in on mom, and then she's smiling. Yes, I hear you. I hear you. Yes, Angie. You know, the children need to check in. Did you hear that? What are your thoughts on that, Angie?
Well, they check it only at a certain time. Like now, because she's talking about boarding school, that's fine. But also how, you know, the legacy and the values, and also knowing that the way the Bible says, train up a child in the way they should go and they'll not depart from it, was a good one. So when my child, because she went overseas for like 6 years, and we talk every day. So we talk every day or even twice a day. So I think that's good. So in terms of boarding school, they're good at a younger age to be checked on. But what happens, like for me, I think my hardest phase was from maybe 18 to 24, where I feel I went through my lessons and my letting go, which was very painful, is that they don't want that kind of checking in. That kind of checking in is not going to go down well. So there has to be a way that I check in. So like I wouldn't call. Sometimes I'll just send an SMS, or I'd say, okay, just send me a smiley face so I know that you're alive. Just post a smiley face, you know? So the communication also changes, you know? I used to call her, check on her when she's out all the time, but no, now I just let it be. And you know, and then, you know, kids, I don't know whether everybody else is expecting this, is on the call, experiences this, they have a way of getting back to you. So she'd also ask me, so this God that you pray to, what is the point of praying to?
I love your daughter.
No, don't love her. Don't encourage her. But where's the faith? Yeah, you taught me faith. Where is the faith that everything is okay? I mean, I'm like, no. So I let go slowly, begrudgingly, knowing I had to. My late dad used to tell me, get a life. My late dad was not even trying to support the problem. He was like, get a life. Please go and find your own life, because she has her own life and you're here trying to drag her down into your life. And you see, there's also something else I realized. I know that I'm jumping the gun, but between the ages of 23 and 25, they're also finding themselves at a new level. You see, teenagehood, they've also transitioned, let's say, they're transitions at 12, maybe then at 18. But there's a transition that we're not very aware of, and we don't focus on 23 to 25, when they're actually now almost that word of becoming. You're really finding yourself. And I find also boys struggle more than girls. I've seen a lot of struggles even with our friends. Lots of locking themselves up in rooms, suicidal thoughts, because they maybe they measure themselves they want to be successful. So there's pressure to succeed, which you would laugh at. I mean, I was like, please, we've got your whole life ahead of you, but it is actually a pressure. It's another stage, because now even the 26-year-old, interested to hear what Narita says, but at 26 now, mine is 26 now, I've seen there's a growth, there's like growing up has happened. So we're not at this 23, 25 stage or the 18-year-old stage as well. There's some growing up that has happened. Adulting has the reality of adulting has entered, and therefore I can see a shift.
Yes. And isn't it amazing that at that age, then there's already a locking into where we started off on the values and the legacy? Because I remember when I was at that age now, I was just about to get married. And I started remembering mom's words that used to really annoy me at that time. But now adulthood and growing up happened to me. I've already left. I went through that time of, I've left home and I'm not looking in the rear view mirror, to coming back full circle now to having a family of my own and wanting to go back and ask mom a few questions, but feeling embarrassed because of the way I left home. I left home on 5th gear, and when you're on 5th gear, there's no going back.
I get, but I guess maybe make it easy for them maybe to communicate. And this one I'm also speaking to myself, because I always tell my daughter, because now I can see, sometimes the writing is on the wall. So I know that when she gets married, has children, now you'll need mom. So I told her I need to come with a list. I'm writing a list of all the issues you have to apologize for first, before I offer any advice or any help. And she's like, no way, mom, you're going to do that. And I keep forgetting. I must have my moment of...
But we're going to get to that, Angie, because we need to be able to honor ourselves. We're going to get to that. Jackie says, it's a cycle. I left home before my older brothers, and it was traumatic for my family. My dad kept sending my brothers to check on me, and my mom was devastated and tried emotional blackmail. I like that, Jackie. And we reached a compromise. Yeah. Sheila Nduku says, good afternoon. When the children went to college, the house was blaring its silence. Isn't that so true?
I know, it's so, it is.
Isn't that so
but
true?
These are the points, I know that I'm getting ahead, where you have to get a life. You have to, get a hold of, shake yourself and start finding purpose, because it's the place where I say, sometimes even when we're lonely, we sometimes we can stay in that pity party or place, but it's only you who can reach out. It's only you who can reach out and say, hi, Lucy, can we have coffee? Can we have lunch? Can we do this? Can we go to the spa? Can we swim? But sometimes that sort of state, aloneness state or loneliness state, wants to keep you there. So for me, I'm always trying to find ways to sort of do something. I enjoy being alone. I enjoy that the house is quiet, because sometimes it's like a hurricane was past here and I'm like, no, I need my silence. So I enjoy the moments of silence. I can come home to a quiet house, do what I want to do. But then again, I think you have to balance it with being able to reach out to somebody, to a friend, saying, let's go have coffee, let's have lunch, let's go for a walk, let's go for a hike, let's do something. Then I'll feel better when I come back. But the responsibility is also ours. We can't wait for other people to see that we are lonely or alone, or that we need comfort. And if you're waiting it from those children, success to you. All I can do is wish you success. Success to you, because but once in a while I guess there's something that happens. Oh, mom, what you doing? Can we come? Can you go spend time? And you're like, oh my God, you're like yes. And then do I try to act not too excited?
You know, Angie, what happened with me is I started checking in on my mother, and I got the shock of my life. She was busy. In
Yes.
fact, I was
Yep, so
interrupting
busy.
her flow. She was busy. And even I would come all the way from Nairobi, go to visit her, and she says, okay, when you come, you just make yourself busy in the house. I will. And I'm thinking, but mom, you're the one who was always on my case. Now that I'm coming, you're busy. Let me tell you the day it happened to my daughter and I, where now I stopped running after my daughter because I got a life. Now, when my daughter calls me, she gets annoyed with me. I'm like,
Yes.
not now. I've got a session. Okay, then call me at 4. No, at 4 o'clock, I've got actually a training. Okay, mom, 8 o'clock. Now, 8 o'clock, I'm taking my life. Mom, when can we talk?
Yeah, that happens with my daughter as well. And it's good for them to find you busy. Like, hey,
Yes.
yeah, even me, I got a life. I decided I better
so get a life.
myself, get a life.
Get a life.
Get a
So,
life and find things to do.
ladies, I was hoping to see a whole list here. I'm not seeing a list yet. Guys, tell us, what are you doing as an empty nester? Give us ideas so we can be sharing. There are those of us on the call who are already empty nesters, and there are those who are not. The whole essence objective is to help build one another. You've got Angie and me here who are already empty nesters, yeah? So Anne Wangoji, you say, as a mom of 2, empty nesting came too fast. Too soon. I think I prepped them just enough to get them started, but still wish I had started earlier. You got the memo. In fact, you became an author of the book. You are prepping them for that. Wow. These are the things we need to hear. Thank you so much for sharing, Anne Mangoji. Nyawera says, before COVID, my work kept me busy. Got into fitness, started intentionally spending more time with my friends and family. Thank you for that list, Nyawera.
Well done.
Yeah.
I like
Thank
that.
you for that. That is now very practical things that we need to do. Fitness, my fitness is working. I don't do the gym. I'm not very good in that atmosphere. So yes, very nice. Lucia Jumbo. Oh, hello, Lucy. Good to see you here. This is my first cousin. And I'm sorry, guys, I keep on talking about my mom, but we are celebrating her on this particular session of Tuesday Talks at 3. So Lucy, you are also grieving for your auntie, and my heart goes out to you. She is well, it is well. She's in a beautiful place. Karibu, Lucy. Okay, then we have Rhoda Kivuva is watching. Sheila says, that list idea is really good. I think the list she's talking about, Angie, is the one where you said you're going to go to your daughter with a list of the things she has to apologize for.
Before I can help, because you see now, this using and abusing, somebody this using and abusing, it's got to stop somewhere, You cannot use me. I was there, invested, then now you're off, I brought you up, you're gone. But it's a cycle of life. So now that you need me again, because you're going to need me again, yes. Now we have to discuss a few things. But anyway,
I love your answer.
There'll be grandchildren, we will be all, yes. Cool, bring the children, I've even finally understood grandparents, that grandparents is just a privilege. It's so amazing. You can have the privilege of parenting and loving without the responsibility. Like, these are your kids, you guys take care of your kids, me, I'm off. Yeah.
So true, so true. My mom used to say, bring them, but you're taking them back.
Yes,
because
you see,
I have a life.
Yeah.
It was just amazing. Anyway, so we've got Anne Mangoji saying, though we pray for our kids, releasing them is a real struggle. I hear you, Angie. Our faith is tested. Maria Walker says, to Pastor Angie and Lucy, how can one guide adult children who have left home towards sound decisions or choices in life matters? That is, finances, investments, spiritual, social, relation, etc., without coming up as nagging, nosy, interfering, or causing conflict. Oh dear. Any examples to share of how your own parents guided you? The first thing I'm going to say before Angie jumps in, there's something called the locus of control, Maria. You've got to know what you can be in control of. So as you have your children within you, this is the time when situational analysis comes into play. You need to know what you're imparting to them, because once you've imparted to a child, it stays in the back of their mind. And as we are told by Bruce Lipton, he's a doctor, he says that 95% of our subconscious is driven by childhood conditioning. So it is what the parent is feeding the child. What are you feeding your child's mind as they're growing up? So by the time they get to this stage where you are, where you're talking about helping them, they have it behind here. So you are letting go of some sort of control because you'll come across as nagging and nosing. And nosy, somebody told me you'll even be blocked. Can you imagine your children blocking you? So exercise, number one, your situational analysis. Make sure whatever legacy you need to impart, you've started when they are young. And now you let go. Locus of control. You know how much you're controlling. Here is this much. Angie, what can you share?
For me, I think using social media platforms is important, like looking for the people who are doing courses or talks on money, who they will listen to, because at this point, they don't want to listen to you. It's not personal, imagine. Don't even take it personally. They just don't think you're an expert in anything, and they don't believe you know anything. So it is just better to let those who they think are experts. So like for my own daughter, I got her interested in listening to Sarah Jakes. And at first, even she didn't want to. Now she's even telling me things Sarah is saying. So find some role models that they can align to, who are on social media. They can do that. Books are also good. Sometimes it may be an obvious hint, but a good book is good, or send a good article. And then something I've also found with my daughter is, if like her friends, she's always very annoyed that her friends like me. She's really upset with that story. Like, hey, like your mom is so cool. And she's thinking, oh my Lord. So she's rolling her eyes, but then they think me I'm cool. So I will also get them involved. So like I can get them to do an activity together, read a book together, do a course together. So because the others are going now, she'll have to go. So if it's a financial course, a wellness course, a course about planning their future or values, then she'll be pulled in because the others are going. So find ways even to empower the others who are around them to do things. But books are good, articles are good, pointing them to good role models and leaders in society who will help them in a particular subject.
Yeah, just like a remote control. You're from far. And you're just sending a few messages. You're not right at the TV itself, poking. But you have to keep on trying at that, because at times when they know that this is your intention, they just block you. They're not interested. I hope that you've managed to get some insights there, Maria. Anna Maura says, I have one daughter traumatized by the thought of letting her go. I see her growing older and becoming independent, and whoa, I hear you. Mine told me very clearly. In fact, I thought I was playing that blackmail thing. It was reverse psychology. I thought that was mine. So we sat on the bed, and when we sat on the bed, she said to me that she's leaving. And my heart sank. My world as I knew it. I never got the memo.
Spins.
I never got the memo. I'm telling you, my heart sank. It was on the floor, but I had to look like the composed mummy that I meant that she knows. So I said to her, you know what, mommy, let's swap positions. Okay. So I am you and you are me. So I am telling you now that I am leaving. What will you say to me? I tell you, I got hit 10-0, and I always tell the story. This is what she said, and I paraphrase. She said to me, you know, in life, you can only learn through experiences, and everybody has got their own personal experiences. So you go out there and learn. I have done my bit as a mother, and therefore remember my words. Okay, so I'm releasing you to go and try life now. I had already given you the foundation. Yani, Angie, those were my words. Do you know, I always used to say that. I never thought they would be used.
They were listening. That's another thing, because they use the things that you've told them to come against you, and it's the fact, they're truth, but that's powerful. Because even Althea told me, those are your fears, and you're not going to put your fears on me. You and your fears, because she knows I have them. Those are yours. Me, here's me leaving and going to do what I need to do best.
Yes. Wow. Rachel here says she will remember that list. I think we are all having an opportunity to remember that list. My mother always reminded me of things that I needed to apologize for. Now I know it's the list. I never knew it existed. Jackie Kelly says, mentors help with imparting information, tutorials on YouTube and articles as well. Thank you so much. So as we are jumping forward, we can already see Empty Nesters telling us a few things to do. And we really appreciate that. But for the sake of this session, I would like, Angie, for you to give us a definition of empty nesting, because maybe we are going forward and we don't know what we are talking about. What is the definition of empty nesting according to you?
Well, first, let me read the Wikipedia definition. It says emptiness syndrome is a feeling of grief and loneliness that parents may feel when their children leave home for the first time, such as to live on their own or to attend college or university, and it's not a clinical condition. Since young adults moving out from their family's house is generally a normal and healthy event, the symptoms of emptiness syndrome often go unrecognized. This can result in depression and a loss of purpose for parents, since the departure of their children from the nest leads to adjustments in their lives. Emptiness syndrome is especially common in full-time mothers. So I liked that definition because it talked about it being a healthy event. You know, sometimes we think like it's the end of the world. It's actually it's healthy and it's actually supposed to happen. And what you need to do is prepare for it. You need to prepare, you need to empower the children, because that's what we're saying. You're empowering them to live on their own and to go into life by themselves. But you need to remember, so you're in the present, but aware of a future that they are going. And then I think I said to you earlier, you also need to learn, as we're building and empowering our children, we must build and empower ourselves. That's the part, that's the missing link. The children are being empowered. They're amazing human beings. The parents are giving it their all. But also, this definition made me think, we think it's just something which is lost, but it's actually healthy and it's actually supposed to happen. It's not.
It is
it's
healthy.
Generally a normal and healthy event. It doesn't feel healthy and normal.
Yes.
Because it's what my daughter's favorite word is, evolving. Things have evolved. Yeah, even you better evolve, mom. Get with the times and the program is that we have evolved, because I'm always like, oh, my baby. This is still your baby, but in a different format. This is not the baby who was there. Now here you have taught me, you have poured into me, you have educated me, you have advised me. Now let me
trust the system. Trust it.
And trust what you poured in.
Yes.
Trust what you poured in.
I like what Nyawera was talking about, the things that were keeping her busy. So ladies, we need to come up with things to keep ourselves busy. Even if you're not going to share with us here on the chat, then purpose that once we are off this call, that you create a list of me time, a list of self. What is that thing that you're going to do for you? And don't be like me, who then I do something for myself, then I start to feel guilty.
That's me. Can't feel guilty.
I feel so guilty, and therefore I really want to be able just to make sure that when I'm doing it, that I own that feeling, because I've already created memories with my children, which is a very important thing to do when they're growing up. And some of these memories then become the foundation of the legacy, because little things will be moved on from one family to another because of what children saw. Like I'll give an example. In today's world, not many people know how to deal with failure. And therefore, we have a lot of suicide situations because we failed at something, and now twice, thrice, 3 times, and then we hang ourselves, or we take some pills, or we overdose, whatever it is. And I want to believe, as a life coach, it has come to me very clearly. I'm not a counselor, and therefore I move you on to a counselor. But then I realize that what it is that people are not ready to deal with failure. So as a parent, are you preparing your children during the empowerment season that there is failure, and that failure is to be used as a stepping stone to success? We have to make mistakes. We are human. So my question to you ladies, are you allowing yourself to be human? Are your children seeing that side of you? Or are you going around like that superpower matriarch who does not make mistakes? Are you apologizing to your children for things that you have done wrong? Just simple things. And Angie, I know we said if we have time, we'll talk about EQ. And right now we are running out of time. We are literally 6 minutes to the hour. Which is coming to an end now. But guys, read up on emotional intelligence and just see how it is that you can manage your own emotions in a very positive way so that you can communicate effectively with your children. If you're with Angie or Jackie Kelly, you have the one child. But at times you've got 3, 4 children. How do you balance this? How do you balance this? You know, so Angie, we are coming to the end of our session, and I'm going to ask you for some takeaways that we can have as women, but I just want to sample some of the comments here. Let's see. Yes, Sheila, we heard what you said earlier. I try to be comfortable. Yes, Rachel says, I'm an empty nest in the making. I try to be comfortable with being alone. Sleepovers help. All right. This memo you got, Buana. Sleepovers help and finding evolving passions. You have become like Althea now. You have
like Althea for evolving passions.
Okay, then Jackie Kelly, yes, but Jane says, one is never really prepared once they leave. You constantly feel their absence. Yes, you could see from the definition of empty nest syndrome. With time, you find your other interests to keep you busy and looking after yourself. Yes, I love that. That is so true. Maria Walker says, thank you. Hashtag Locus of Control. Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way he should go.
They will not depart from
guiding them towards mentorship and forums and platforms they admire or listen to and have sound content is great. Asanteni. Oh, karibu sana. Karibu sana. Anmangoji says, so true, Angie. I poured my all into my kids. Now I realize I forgot myself. True story. True story, true story. Jackie says, it's time for us to start working on that bucket list. I know, I hear you. The bucket list. I mean, driving from Mombasa to Nairobi yesterday, I realized that I haven't been to the Savo in yonks. And I only did that with my children. I haven't been to Amboseli since I was in college. Since I was in college. Seriously, Lucy, you need a life. So I was saying in the car, I'm coming back here. But for me now, I have confirmed I am going there, definitely, bucket list. Sheila says, evolved, statement. Done, Sheila, we hear you. Nyawera says, we need to reinvent ourselves. Yes, ladies, we need to reinvent ourselves. And Mongoji says, are there empty nester groups we can join to find encouragement and ideas? I love that. I love that. Are there empty nester groups we can join to find encouragement and ideas? I'm very sure they're there, Anne. I'm sure
start her own.
Yeah, if you don't find any on Facebook, you start your own. Start your own and tell us, you know, and we will promote it and join it. Yeah? Modoni Kamau, this is where finding our purpose comes in, and amen to that. Thank you so much, ladies, for sharing. I love that engagement session. We now have literally 3 minutes. If you could please, Angie, just give us some 3 takeaways that we can complete our session on.
So be intentional in loving self. I love that. And be deliberate about how you express it to yourself and those around you, because all that we're talking is about loving self. Like when you're building and empowering, it's loving self and loving others. So be intentional about it, and then hold on to everything in your life loosely, whilst maintaining deep love and connections. It's a really intricate balance, but you learn. So you hold on to it loosely, but you're a deep person. You're not detached, you know, you're still deep love connections. And I love the way that you said, make memories, and then focus and keep your eyes on the end game. Yeah. Work on this daily, but there's an end goal, and the end goal is that they're supposed to leave home. And the definition in Wikipedia, it's that it's healthy and normal. This is an expectation. I think I sort of added here, letting go is painful, but you must daily sort of acknowledge and try to discover yourself daily. It's like a daily walk, you know. And I know you only asked me to share 3, but I wanted to say, when you empower your children, you must empower them to be street smart, book smart, and life smart.
Whoa, hold on. We're talking street smart,
book smart, but also life smart. They must know things on the street, like if they took a mat from here to there, what's going to happen. Then life, what are the life experiences? Like you said, let's not mollycoddle them. What are life things? What happens when your heart is broken? What happens? You know, those things. But then also now book smart. So sometimes we focus on the book smart, but they're not smart about the street life, and they're not smart about just life itself.
About just life.
Yeah, and I love that process. I think trust the process. Like we said, it's a cycle. It keeps going on. It's been going on for generations. From our great grandparents. You know, it's been going on, and we must trust the process and trust what we've put in them.
Yes. Thank you so much, Angie. Thank you so much for your time. And to the audience, thank you so much for being so interactive. We can see Anne Wangoji saying that she's taking the challenge on. She's saying thank you very much. Oh, Georgette, nice to see you. Karibu sana, Georgette. And Jackie Kali says she absolutely agreed. So thank you, Angie, for your authentic sharing. That was amazing. You could feel it was straight from the heart. It was not scripted. The emptiness syndrome can be crippling. And as you've heard from Angie, it can lead to depression. If you are already there, you've got challenges of waking up in the morning, you feel that you have no purpose, you cannot think, you're forgetting things, it could be that depression is sinking in. You want help to be pulled out of there, you want to seek a counselor's help, but also if you're not there, just look for that list. And I'm not talking about the list that Angie was talking about for her daughter to apologize. I'm talking about the bucket list that Jackie Cully was referring to. You know, we do need to be prepared, and we need to make it that season, you know, like the way she said in the beginning, and I'm going to read it. She said, living in the present and being aware of the future, because she missed the memo, and many of us missed the memo too. So you need to make this season of today a part of that season of tomorrow, a part of today's actions. Very, very important. Asante, Angie. Next week, ladies, we look at the power of vision. We will have Pauline Bugwa, who is actually one of the people on the session today. And we will be looking at the power of vision as we empower our children. And I'm very sure, Modoni Kamau, that is where the purpose is coming in. We are helping our children get purpose, and we are also helping ourselves have a purpose and a vision. Remember what Angie is saying, have the end goal in mind as you're going through. You know, our children are watching us maneuver life. Is our life inspirational? You know, let's get a life. Let's show them that this is possible. These are things that can happen. We can fail and get up and go. We can lose everything and still be able to move on with life because we trust the system. So in the meantime, remember to like our page so that you can receive our regular updates. I'm seeing Maria Walker saying, wow, street smart, life smart, book smart. Ish, got that. Yeah, Nancy, you're saying Mama had a bucket list and she lived it. Oh, she did. Well, Nancy, you and I, we need to chat, and we include Lucia Jumbo in that chat so we can know this bucket list, because once we have the bucket list, then we can learn. Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you so much. Until next week. Until then, be kind to self. Bye-bye now.
Bye.